What do you say, folks? It's Dave here on a Sunday night, just kind of saying hi. Got a It's my last weekend before the madness begins. Actually, I did two games yesterday, um, play by play. So the madness has begun a little bit early, um, but I did. Like I say, I did manage to play something today and have a chat tonight. And I think I got tomorrow off, so I'll play tomorrow. But then as you know, now we're into September. And yeah, that's when I got to sit down and go over the schedule and figure out how many days I'll be working without a day off. I think I'm back to that again. But anyway, I thought I'd come on tonight and try to tell you about some of the games that I really enjoy playing that really kind of they really bring my stress level down. And I just enjoy them, and I forget about everything while I'm playing them. And there's a handful of games I have that do that. A lot of them do, but some more than others. You know what I mean? And they're not necessarily my favorite games either. They're just games that kind of just chill out and make me just kind of have a good time here. As Joe comes by, hi Joe. I was talking to Joe today a little bit, and Phil did a nice unboxing on APBA football, and well, that's what I played today. That was unbelievable. I'm going to talk about that here. I'm going to talk about that. Mr. Jet comes by. Mr. Jet, I almost played some 60s hockey today, but I ended up going with the APBA football, and I'm glad I did, and I'll tell you why. Um, and APBA Chatter comes by. Always like seeing APBA Chatter come by, especially when I'm playing APBA. Jeff comes by. Greeting and sandwiches from Jeff. And Mr. Raymond comes by. I was in a text group with him today as I was chatting with some of that stuff there. And my man Ray's by. And oh boy, this guy here, Mr. Michael. Yeah, we're talking. We're going to be talking 3 hours tonight of sacrifice bunts. Oh man. So yeah. So it just got me thinking. Like I always do. I think too much. I was playing today. I went to the gym today. I did an hour on the treadmill today. I come home. I was like, okay, I get the day off. What do I want to do? Wife wasn't feeling good. Dog wasn't feeling good. And so she's like, I'm just going to lay low today. I said, okay, so maybe I'll go do something downstairs. So I come downstairs. I'm looking around. And it's like, boy, I really, really would like to play APBA football today. And I'm looking at the clock, and it's like 12:30. And I says, well, I know that 12:30, 1 o'clock, something like that. So I know it's going to take me a half hour to set it up and then 3 hours to play it, especially if I stream it. And I said, well, let me start. Let me start. And so I said, okay. So I ended up, I pulled out, I said, what do I want to play? And for some reason, I in my feed, I got a 1975 This Week in the NFL, whatever it was, This Week in Pro Football. And they were talking about the Cardinals. And I didn't know Conrad Dobler played for the Cardinals, but he did. He was a lineman or something like that. And Jim Hart and, was it Otis Smith and Metcalf and guys like that? I was like, just that was a fun team, the Cardinals team of 75. I'm going to play the Cardinals of 75. So I went on the Pro Football Reference. I'm looking around. I go, who am I going to play the Cardinals against? And I stumbled on they played the Jets that year. They went into the New York to Shea, and they played the Jets. And Namath was the quarterback, and Riggins was in there, and a few other guys that I recognize. Boozer, the halfback, and Castor, I think, was the tight end. So I knew a handful of guys. Now 75 is just when I come onto the scene in football. I mean, we all have a year that we just kind of remember coming onto the scene. Now before that, I was so young, I really wasn't aware of things. So I caught the end of the Bobby Orr era, and I just started to get into hockey right around 74, 75. That's when I really became aware, And so I says, there's some names here that I know. So let me play this. And so I did. And I'm going to tell you about that game here today, amongst a few other things here. Highwayman, I'm a highway star, long time viewer. How they ever chat? Well, come on in and say hi. That's what we're doing here tonight. We're just here trying to have a good time here tonight, talking about some of our fun games. And I gave a topic tonight, and that's what's a game that really lowers your stress? What brings you? What game do you go to and I know most games do, and probably all of them do. But what is the one for you that you can sit down and just decompress and just eat it up and enjoy it and just for an hour or two or three, uh, everything goes away. Everything just goes away, and you get so caught up in the game that it's a fun little escape, you know. Again, Scott comes by, and oh yeah, Phil, yeah, you got your channel set up for kids or video set up to kids. I couldn't even comment today. Um, it's really not a good idea to set it up for kids. There's a lot more restrictions on it, what you can do, and so just yeah. So that's just a suggestion from me and some of the other people here. Jim Sky comes by. Normally APBA baseball. Lately though, DK Sports Hockey. It's quite the game. Is that the Action PC you're talking about? Is that Action PC Hockey we're talking about, Jim? DK Sports, or is that? I'm not sure. I'm not aware of a DK Hockey aside from that. Swedish Jeff. I like playing games like APRO. I need to focus on something for a couple of hours. It takes my mind off whatever stressed me out, financial, physical, family, etc. Yeah. I'm a little stressed out right now, and it's kind of weird that I was getting some pressure on my chest and not sleeping and just feeling. I felt the last 2 or 3 days I felt weird, and I told my wife that. I says I feel weird, and it's when you can't put your finger on it. I was like, man, I don't know why, but I'm not myself, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what's causing that. And then you start to think, oh, is it my heart? Is it my my sugar levels? Is it my blood pressure? Or is it just do I have the flu? Is it a stomach bug? And you just don't know what it is. And I had that for 2 or 3 days, and then Friday night we went to that concert. That was kind of fun. It was a Judas Priest tribute band and a Motley Crue tribute band, and they were both really good, and we enjoyed that. And then I had Saturday. I thought I had Saturday off, and I had to go to broadcast a couple games. And I was like, something? I had fun broadcasting the games, and maybe that's what calmed me down. Maybe now that September's almost here, and I got my work schedule filling back up, and I'm back at the rink doing what I really enjoy doing. Maybe that relaxed it, or maybe it was just the game today because I come home from the gym, and usually I come home from the gym and I'm wiped out, and I just want to go lay down for a while, and I didn't. And I come home and I said, okay, I'm gonna play something. I played the APBA football game here today, and it was it was so cool. It was just such a fun time, and I'm going to talk about that in a bit. But yeah, just getting away and just today I feel kind of normal today, or as normal as whatever. So Phil says I wouldn't let me. Sadly, new to posting videos. Yeah, go in and check out. Go in and check your channel. You might be able to work around something or change something or whatever. I'm not sure how you would do that, but yeah. And Barbara comes by. Hi, Barbara. And I'm back in the chat here. I'm okay. Action Sports Hockey. Okay, so that's the computer game, right? I think that's what we're talking about. Okay. And D13 comes by and he says, I'm with Jeff. Playing something complicated, learning a new game takes my mind off whatever's causing me stress. To me, I just get into the game. There's so many games I get into. And we'll talk about them here tonight. But there's so many games I play. But some, we all know what I'm saying, right? Some more than others. Just kind of, bring it to the next level, brother. That's just what they do. And Joe says, gameplay itself, it is. And he says, Hockey Blast, for some reason, history maker, baseball, relaxing most. Yeah, see, that's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at. It's kind of like, boy, I love hamburgers, but boy, I love, Chinese food, or I love a good roast beef sandwich, There's always these games, just for whatever reason, just up at a notch. And it's I don't know what it is, but there's a handful for me that just do that, and I just get lost in the game. And I can't believe I played a whole game of APBA football today. I mean, the whole thing. I even streamed it too, and I just kept going. I was like, I'm going. The wife actually brought me down some lunch in the middle of it, and I had a little bit off to the side, but it got cold on me, so I had to have it afterwards. But yeah, I mean, she was great. It's like I'm in my element, and just kind of doing that, you know. Power wash simulator, you know, I would really enjoy that. I actually like watching the power wash videos on YouTube. I like watching them; they're relaxing. Power wash video would be fun, but I get a little dizzy playing that. My motion sickness kind of kicks in, so I can't play that much, you know. AP, Mr. AP, coming by. Yep, thanks for coming by. Um, and Jeff says he had his potassium level was kind of low. And yeah, I take a ton of supplements. So when I go, my numbers are usually okay, except for like, you know, other things. But, you know, I try to take the supplements to kind of balance that out. You know, honestly, I had really bad stomach issues for many years. Not that I want to turn this to a medical show. And the doctor said, I want you to start taking these probiotics. They were, I forget what kind of probiotics they were. This stuff I buy at CVS or Amazon. Excuse me. I don't remember the brand now. Johnson and Johnson, maybe. I forget. But a well-known brand. And so I take one a day. I take a probiotic a day. I've been taking those for gotta be 5 or 6 years, and I don't think I've had any, knock on wood, I have not had any major issues with my stomach or my intestines since I've been taking the probiotics. I also quit drinking soda. Well, I'm back to having a little bit. I get my root beer here, but like all day long, I drank diet soda, and I kind of cut that out. Now it's maybe one at night, or maybe if I go out to eat. But I mean, I was all day long. I'd have 3 or 4 diet Pepsis, that, you know, diet Mountain Dews. That was my drink, and I cut out a lot of that, and that seemed to have helped too my stomach. But yeah, the probiotics really have helped out my stomach. Scott had a magnesium deficiency. Yeah, you know, I take a ton of magnesium because it's good for your heart and it's good for your whatever. Because my chiropractor has the same heart issue I do, and he goes, "Yeah, magnesium is really good." So I take a ton of magnesium. That helps you. I started taking. I used to take it in the morning. I used to take everything in the morning, and now I split it up. So now I take the magnesium at night, and it's supposed to relax you for bed. Holy cow! I've been having just crazy dreams with the magnesium at night. And I go right out. I go out. I sleep a little bit better with the magnesium. But my dream, I'll tell you this dream I had last night. I woke up in the middle of the night and I was shaken for this dream. And the wife get up to go to the bathroom. And I says, I got to tell you about this dream I just had. And it was right here. I says, I had a dream that my cousin showed up for whatever reason. My cousin in Colorado that I met in Colorado there. He showed up at the house to drop something off. And he came in the house and we come downstairs and I had a leak like right here. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got a leak. And so all my tile fell down and it was this, I don't know what it was. It was some joint that was connected to something and it was just leaking. I was like, oh my gosh, somehow I get to tighten it up. I got to replace that. So I tried to shut off my computer and I couldn't shut it off. There was no way to shut off the computer. It just, no matter what. And I'm like, man, I need to shut this computer off so it doesn't short out. And the water's coming down and then I look over here, it's coming, and I got water coming everywhere. So it says, all right, the hell with the computer. I need to shut off the main. And so I'm screaming upstairs for the wife, says, you got to help me. You got to get a bucket or something. And I'm trying to shut off the main with the water and I shut it off. And all of a sudden there's this big gush of water started coming down from the second floor. We don't have a second floor, but that's where the water was coming from in my dream. And I'm like just freaking out because there's water oh my gosh. And I told her, she's just like, you all right? It says, I don't know. It says that magnesium, it just gives me just weird dreams. I says, I hope that's not like a premonition of something to come. I mean, 2 years ago we had the flood, or a year ago, whenever it was. So that's kind of, we did have the flood down here, but it wasn't coming from the ceiling. It's just like, but those are the things that magnesium does for me. It is nuts. Oh, well, enough of that. Sabrina Larson says the basic APBA baseball. Yeah, that's, oh man, yeah, that is my my late night game. When I just want to relax at late at night and play a baseball game, APBA basic. It's just simple play, no muss, no fuss, and it's a nice simple game. Now it's not a simple game, but for me, APBA basic is the simplest game you can play. And some people don't like it because of that. I do late at night. I love that. I need to get more APBA baseball seasons. I don't have any APBA baseball seasons. But it is my fun late night game. Payoff pitch really is my baseball game. Just me personally. There's so many things I like about that compared to a lot of other games. But APBA late at night is just kind of fun to take it out. That's kind of like sitting in front of a fireplace and listen to the fire crackle. That's kind of how APBA Basic is for me. And Sean says he likes Here's the Pitch. Yeah, you've been talking about that for a while. You really have. You've been talking about that for a while, you know. And Barbara says it's a great football game. Yeah, that was a great football game today. I will talk about that because that's one of the things I really want to talk about. It was nuts. And it was nuts in a good way. It really was. Yeah, and if you haven't checked it out, that APBA football game today is great. Yeah, I did a full game of APBA football today. I don't expect anybody to go watch 3 hours of APBA football, but so many things happened in that game. It was not a boring game. There was so many between the interceptions and the fumbles, and then just when you thought it got dull, we had a rare play, 2 rare plays that shook the game up, and I'll talk about them. But it was just so good. We had 2 missed extra points. Each team missed an extra point. One of them was so critical. It was nuts. Again, I'll talk about that. But everything happened in this game. And it was APBA football, and that's my game. It really is. And I can just sit down and play this for 2 or 3 hours, and I walk away from that, and man, I feel pretty good. And no matter how the game goes, it doesn't have to be a great comeback at the end. It can just be anything, but just that game, it just makes me really feel like I've watched a football game. I just get into it so much. And I don't know if it's the individual cards or what it is, but that game just a little bit to the next level. And again, I have a lot of other great football games I play. And you've seen them here on the channel. Some I'm getting back into again. But the APBA, I don't know if maybe it's because I do spend a half hour or so laying out the cards. Maybe that's it. Maybe because I have time invested before the game that now I don't know. Maybe that's part of it. Sometimes just pull out a team sheet and you're done. There's no setup, and it's just you just jump into the game. But sometimes when you're sitting there laying out the cards and who's going to play here and who's going to play there and who are my guys over here, sometimes it's I don't know. It's you feel more involved setting up sometimes. Same like with the APBA hockey or the hockey bones. I'm laying out individual cards, and it's like that's really kind of cool. Doug comes by. Hi, Doug. Hello, Dave in chat, and he's Hockey Blast or Hockey Blast Express. Is that History Maker Baseball? The HMB, is that what that is? So those are your games there. And Joe says he just started playing APBA baseball, and it's something about playing the basic version is very relaxing. It is. It is just. It's not the best baseball game. APBA Basic I'm talking about. It's not the best baseball game. It's got some things you could argue that maybe it's not this and maybe it's not that, and that's valid points. But the gameplay itself just. And that's what I really like about the football game. It really is just looking at the chart and getting your results. And you don't have to think about too much with it. The only thing you got to think about is when I use the defensive cards, as you know. And so let's just say it says, AS or BS, whatever the index is, A, B, or C. And if you're playing run, standard, or pass, there's 3 on each side, 3 variables on each side. And sometimes, a lot of times when you're passing, the receiver grade of A, B, or C will change the defensive index of A, B, or C. So that's the only thing that ever changes, aside from, when you go to the chart. And a run, it's just straightforward. A pass, if you got a B and the receiver is an A, that bumps up to an A, because the receiver can usually improve the grade. If the receiver is a C and you got an A, it drops down to a B. So that's the only time things change. And I've gotten so used to it that it just flies right by. And obviously, if you're playing a passing situation, then you will be playing in the pass defense. But aside from that, it's just get a number, look at the chart. Passing, again, there's a small calculation. It's all common sense, though, because if it's 3rd and 7 or 3rd and 10, you're not playing the run. you're not even playing standard, you're automatically going to go to the deep. That's how I play it, and it just works out better that way. But yeah, just between the baseball and the football and even the hockey, you just roll and look at you get the number and you look at the chart and you're done. You're done, and you don't have to worry about this or that, the other thing, or things changing. And it's just, I don't know. There's something about late at night, like I say, when you're kind of tired, you have the heavy eyes, you don't feel like thinking too much. You pull out the APBA Basic, and you just have the one chart book there. I have the smaller brown book I like, and it just fits right here on the table. And I don't have to, like the hockey. I have a lot of charts out, so that's a bigger deal. And that's going to take me hour 15, hour and a half to play APBA hockey. But APBA Basic though, and especially if I go to Digi Dugout and I print out the roster, I pick a game and I print out the roster, it's all done, then I'm done. The only thing I got to do is just make sure that APBA has the card for it, which is where payoff pitch comes in. But I'll find the game and just bang it out, and just, again, the one-off, just have some fun with it. I don't even know what other APBA seasons I would get. What do I have over here? I think I got 70, 78, 79, 80, 84, and 88, I think. And 86. I think Michael gave me 86. Yeah, I have 86. But I have 77 too. So I have 77 to 80, and then a couple of 80 seasons, and that's all I really need for baseball. Because I was gonna get another baseball season when I placed that hockey order. But I'm like, I don't, I get payoff pitch really is my baseball game. But late at night, some app is fun. But no, I think those 5 or 6 seasons would be pretty good. I don't even know. I get 69 too for the Pilots. I don't even know what season I would get, even if like I could get it for free. It's like, I don't know what season I would get. I have my main baseball seasons. I would like 95. I would like to play Wakefield and Conseco and was it Movon with the Sox? I would like to play that with, the Indians were good. I'd like to but the APBA version, it's just too expensive for me with APBA right now. I'm kind of hoping Joe will come out with 95 and payoff pitch. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, going off on the APBA baseball tangent, it's not the best baseball game out there, but I feel, for me, of all the baseball games I got, it's the easiest. It's the one I can just pull it out and play. I don't even got to think about anything. I don't have to think about any of the rules. It just goes really fast. APBA Chatter chimes in and says the YouTube videos relax me. He had hand surgery and it's difficult to play with the right hand right now. Oh boy! But normally he would play APBA baseball, APBA football, SSG basketball, APBA saddle racing, hoops, and a handful of other games. So yeah, that's a pretty good selection. AP likes to play in the crease hockey to reduce my stress. I haven't played that in a while. I like that on the computer, and I need to pull that out so I can start practicing because I was rusty yesterday when I did the actual games. I was rusty, and I play in the crease to kind of practice doing the games. So that's what I need to do. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Maybe I'll do a practice period, and then I'll go and I'll set up and I'll stream in the crease game live because that's fun. It's just a matter of I still haven't figured out the penalties in that game. So that's the one thing that I just hockey game penalties are just tough. Grant's game, the 49 hockey, whether it's the quick decks or whether it's the highlight hockey, I like the penalties there. They're nice and easy. And the Hockey Bones does good penalties too. How they do it, and you can always come up with something besides just a minor. Like APBA seems to be like 99% minor penalties. Once in a while, you get a fight. Very rarely do you get a double minor. I did get one the other day, and I was kind of shocked because I don't usually get it. But yeah, the 49 hockey does good that. But inside the crease, I just can't figure out how to do the penalties. And I've looked at it a million times. PJet did a video on it. I still just don't get it. Just don't get it. And Randy says, APBA basic for me. Also play my favorite music in the background while rolling. Yeah, do you know what I've been doing? Is because I have the YouTube Premium, I got the YouTube Music, and so I've been going to some bands and putting on some albums, and I think I didn't realize that Rush had a live record or a live whatever it was from the Grace Under Pressure tour, which is the one I saw like 5 times. And so I went back and I couldn't believe that they had it. So I listened to it. It's like the whole set. And I was like, man, I heard that set 5 times back in, what was it, '86 or something like that, or '85, whenever they toured with that. And so I listened to that. I listened to like all the Sabbath records when Ozzy died. I was right in the middle of listening to all the Sabbath when Ozzy died. So I finished listening to all the Ozzy and all the Dio, and I like that Ian Gillan with Born Again in 1983. I like that too. I like the Tony Martin years with Sabbath. So yeah, I'll put on music too, Randy, while I'm rolling. Either that or if someone's on YouTube, I'll do that. But I do like that as well. Um, yeah. All these medical issues are raising the stress. Yeah, I know. That's we go to forget these things. I get it. Um, and yeah, take vitamin D3. Yeah, I have a vitamin. I don't know if it's D3 or D. I take something with the magnesium. They say to take magnesium with the vitamin D. Corey comes by. Yeah, so we're just kind of talking about some of our stress relievers, you know. And I'll tell you, I do want to dive into my APBA football game today because it was a beaut. It was. Um, and Jeff says he's thinking about playing the '94 baseball players if the strike never happened. Yeah, a lot of people like to do that. They like to take a season that never happened or that got cut short and do something with it. Um, and Sean says he likes talking to squirrels. That releases his stress. Okay, that's not bad. Not bad at all. Talking to squirrels is okay. I got plenty of them here at my house. The other night, when we come home from the show Friday night, we didn't get home till about 12:30, so I never got the camera out. But when I come home late at night, I kind of pull the car in between my house and the neighbor's house to shine a light to see if there's any coyotes in that area that they always show up at, because I don't want to run into them. And I saw something. I go, "What the heck's that?" And the wife's like, "What are you talking?" I said, "No, look over there by the fence." And it was a skunk. So if I had the camera out, I would have got a skunk. I haven't got a skunk in years. I haven't seen skunks around here, but I guess we got them. Um, and Kata says he likes the PC gaming stuff. That is stress relief for him. Corey likes Strat Baseball is a good one, and also Payoff Pitch. Like I say, Payoff Pitch is my go-to game, but it's more of a thinking game than Strat Basic and APBA Basic. It really is a lot more going on. It's not difficult, but it's more going on. So when I'm just kind of chilling out here and I'm kind of tired and the eyes are getting heavy, but I don't want to go to bed yet, the APBA Baseball is kind of like my cup of warm cocoa, if you will. And whereas Payoff Pitches, as much as I enjoy it, it's not quite the relaxing game for me. And even though I think it's my favorite baseball game. Joe says Strat does it for him too. Yep. And Scott says he wants to get back in the habit of back-to-back baseball games, even if I have a score sheet with room for 2 games on the side. Sometimes I'll do that. I have my '76 Red Sox right next to me, and I'll pull that out, and I'll usually play a couple games at night on Digital Diamond, because that's where I keep my scores. And I'll just do that. I don't even stream it all the time. Corey says, yeah, kind of relaxing to play the Strat. And Will Tool comes by. Good to see you. OTP or Action PC Baseball, a great stress reliever. Yeah, those are the games you can kind of just kick back, right, with a mouse and play it like that. Yeah, I can see that. Again, PC games, I mean, the cards and dice are fun and they're relaxing, but the PC games in their own mind can be relaxing. There's a couple of dice game I play on Steam, and I've had them on the channel here, and I forget what they're called. But it's one of these things where you have a character and he's got so many health points, and then the monster comes up and you roll dice and you have to put your dice to eliminate the monsters, if you will. Like dice and fold, it's called dice and fold. So you fold the monster over so if the monster has a 4, you roll dice. You have to come up with a total of 4 to beat the monster. Sometimes if it says a 2 exact, you got to get a 2 exact to put on them. And it's just a fun game. And I kick back, and it takes me 15-20 minutes to play a game. I usually don't win, but it's still fun. But yeah, sometimes it can be fun. And the mental error on special teams. Well, any kind of mental error when you're tired, it kind of sinks. That's why I got to go with it. It's the simplest game. And Mr. Waterfield comes by, and he says, Strat here as well. Watching a movie or game while playing Strat is always relaxing. You know what I like to do is I actually had the hockey playoffs on here. I just I have them streaming on the computer here because I think with Comcast, as long as you're on the same network, you can watch it on. I think I had it on my iPad actually too, either the iPad or the computer. And I just had the game on. And was kind of listening to it, kind of watching the highlights, but I was playing my game while that was on. So yeah, so I've done that a few times. Let's see here. And Mr. Jeff says, next game for me is Action PC. I really want to play their older in baseball, football seasons, and I need to try basketball. I've tried Franchise Hockey Manager, but want to try hockey too. The Franchise Hockey Manager is a very different game. It's hard. I can't figure it out. So what I like about Franchise Hockey Manager is such a sandbox. What I do is I just do a fantasy draft. I fire up a season and I say start a historical season with a fantasy draft. And it basically releases everybody. And so then you just take over whatever team you want, and everyone just starts picking from all the players. And it's fun, especially with the older seasons. It's fun to see where people end up. It's fun to see, Bobby Orr with the Minnesota North Stars, and Guy Lafleur on the Atlanta Flames or whatever it is. It's just fun. Doing the draft. That's all it is. It's just kind of fun doing the draft. And so that's what I like Franchise Hockey Manager for. And then I just kind of sim the season and try to set up my lines and make some trades. And it's just that, I like that with Franchise Hockey Manager. But I can't coach anybody. I don't know how to do any of the coaching, Let's see. Oh, Patrick comes by. Hi, Patrick. He goes, highlight hockey, right? Two teams I know absolutely nothing about. Couldn't care who wins. Pretty much plays itself. Isn't that fun, Patrick? Though, I purposely will do that. Like today, I played the Cardinals at the Jets. Obviously, I'm not a big Jets fan because I'm up here in Boston. But I how do you get mad at Joe Namath, right? So I played two teams today, and I wasn't rooting for either one of them. So like you said, you got teams you absolutely don't care about, and you can play the game, and you can really be neutral about it. You really can. You're not, you're playing it really neutral, and then it doesn't matter who wins, and that's why I avoid playing my favorite teams, and I avoid playing my nemesis a lot, and that's why you see here on the channel I play a lot of lukewarm teams. What did I play the other night? I played Atlanta Thrashers and Phoenix Coyotes. Two teams I can't even stand. And I played them the other night, and I didn't care who won because I don't like either one of them. So, and that's why I like the full seasons. That's why, I don't just buy teams or the best of. I like the full season, so I can go back and play a random game from two teams I don't even care about, AP says, for basketball, I like Stratomatic for the PC and 4th Street basketball for the PC. Yep. And Patrick says he needs to get a football game. There's plenty of them. There's so many good ones out there. Just keep in mind, depending on what football game you get, or what kind you play. If you play a full play football game, let's call it full play, meaning you're gonna roll the dice or flip a card for every single play. That's 120 plays plus kickoffs and extra points and field goals and penalty checks. So you're looking at 2 to 2.5 hours for each game. Usually, there are a couple of games that play a little quicker, and also it all depends on what happens in the game. But don't be discouraged by, if you look at some of these games and people saying it takes a couple hours to play, because if you do the math at 120 plays plus kickoffs plus penalty checks, and depending how fast you play it, even if it's a minute of play, right? So you get your play, you do it, and it takes a minute to do all that and record everything. Well, that's 120 minutes, right? That's going at a pretty good clip. That's without bathroom breaks and, stopping to watch highlights of the hockey game. So keep in mind that that's what football games are, and just enjoy that. Don't worry about trying to get through it too quick, Let me see. Carter says, everyone says that Action PC sports are great. I'd believe you, and would try, but I've invested so much in the PC replay games, and ASG Golf is stone cold. It can't change. Well, that again, that's no big deal. You like what you like. It doesn't mean the other games are bad. Doesn't mean they're good. Just you've gone this route, and if you're having fun, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. I've got, a lot of money invested in a lot of time invested in certain games as well. Doesn't mean the other games are bad. Just means that this one works for me. And I just haven't gone the other way and invested in some of these games with my time or my money. Um, let's see here. And Ryan comes by. Ryan, I'm really tempted to check out the APBA soccer. Although I'm not a soccer guy, so I don't know if I would even really. Don't know if I'd really even enjoy it. I don't know. Like I say, we played those few minutes in Connecticut, and I didn't care for it. I'll be honest, and it had nothing to do with you. It's just how many dice rolls we were rolling for not a lot to happen. Now I heard the fast action cards really get that game moving, so maybe that's the way to go. So maybe but I haven't seen any videos of anybody playing with the fast action cards, or at least I haven't watched any of them yet. So I might want to. Again, because I like the app away. I like the charts and the cards and things like that. But that one there really didn't do anything for me. But maybe the fast action cards would maybe make it flow. I felt it was very, very choppy, and it had nothing to do with you. It just the game itself. As I'm watching you play it and I'm following along, I'm like, boy, this is really. It's not smooth. It just wasn't smooth. I just felt like there was too much starting and stopping. It's just me. And Raymond says he's going to rewrite history. He's going to get his Flyers to win in his Cards and Dice world when they lost in real life. Call it silly, but it makes me feel good. Yeah. That it is kind of fun. You know, I don't know about you, Ray. Sometimes what I do is I purposely will get a seat like 70-71 for hockey. Bruins didn't win it. Should have won it and didn't win it. I enjoy playing that because there's no expectations. When I play 69-70 or 71-72, the years that they did win it, when they don't win it, and they haven't, I can't beat St. Louis and I can't beat the Rangers in those series. It's disappointing. So you see where I'm coming from with that. So if I play a season that they didn't win it, like I got the 2001 for the Patriots there, but they're such an underdog. I don't think I could get them to win the Super Bowl because that was just such a fluke thing. But if they had 2003 or 2004, the other season, they were better. And I don't have 2007. I know they didn't win it all, but they were undefeated. It's like I don't want to play those seasons. I don't know because I'd rather pick a season they didn't win, so I could. There's no expectations. Does that make any sense? I don't know if that makes any sense. And let's see here. Doug comes by. Doug says, history maker baseball, but he likes APBA basic baseball for relax. Yeah. It is just it's easy. You don't get mad. You just kind of sit back and watch it. And that's the rest of my ginger ale from the football game a few hours ago. Me and the wife, I went upstairs and I finished having that. She made some rice, chicken, and carrots thing. It was unbelievable. And I says, the dog was looking kind of sassy. You want to go out and get an ice cream? We'll take the dog out for a ride. See if we can, get her some fresh air, cheer her up, because she's still all sore from all the problems she's having. So, yeah, the dog I'm talking about. So we get in the car, we go drive up the highway to the ice cream place, and there's like 55 people in line. It's just a popular place. I'm like, well, ain't going there. Let's try the one downtown. We get downtown. There's like 15 to 16 people in line, but it was all these kids, and they're bouncing around, they're jumping up and down, and I'm standing there at the side of the road, and I started just to have a panic attack, and I'm looking at us. I can't stand in this line. I says, these kids are just driving me nuts. The line wasn't moving. It was just, I want a hot dog, and I want this, and I'm going to have that, and what do you want? I want, and there's like 10 kids bouncing around, and plus all the adults, and I'm just like, this line, I gotta go. And so the last chance was Dairy Queen, and we drove by Dairy Queen, just went, all right, 20 people in the lobby, don't eat an ice cream tonight. We never got it. We never got the ice cream tonight. Well, the dog got a ride though, so that was good. Ryan says APBA Basic is awesome, so simple. There's something about 66-1 gone and the simplicity of that knowing the result. Yeah, and that's the same way with the football. When you roll those doubles, you're like, oh, something good's happening here. something's good happening. Although I rolled doubles twice in the last drive today, and it wasn't good enough for a catch, and so they didn't move the ball. I needed the 11 or the 66, but the 44s and the 55s just weren't cutting it for these quarterbacks. It's kind of how it was. And Michael comes by. He likes to strat baseball basic. Yeah, that's my other one I like. The only thing is I just wish Strat had more seasons, and I wish they had more players. It's just tough when you pull out Strat and you don't have the guy. And the same with APBA. APBA has most of my seasons over here. I do have everybody in there somewhere on some team. But the Strat, so that does prevent me from playing games if I know that the guys aren't there. It does. I hate to say it, it just does. That's why I like to play Hockey Bones or hockey, because they have everyone. They're gonna be there. And the APBA, they have a lot of them, so I just gotta kind of suck it up with the APBA and just kind of work around that. Because the other night when I played the Thrashers, holy cow, I think they had 40 guys in and out of the lineup, and so there were a couple of guys that just didn't have cards at all on any team, and so it wasn't like they were traded by the Thrashers. They just didn't have a card. They played 20-something games but didn't have a card because they still had a ton of cards. But at some point, it's like, okay, here's the cutoff. So we're going to cut it off at whatever, 25 or 30 guys. But so there's a lot of Thrashers that aren't on carded. So I couldn't play an as played the other night, and I couldn't unless I played Hockey Bones. But despite that, I still make it work for APBA hockey one way or another. APBA football looks great, but it's so expensive. Yes, it is. I'm not going to lie. It is. But you get a ton of cards. That's the thing. You get about 1,200 cards. Again, that's a whole other argument, whether you need them all or not. It's still, I like having them. And but yeah, if there were less, I would probably have more seasons. So I'm really selective on what I get. I know I have a lot of them, but I've chipped away, and some I traded for, and a couple were given to me. And so, yeah, it is. APBA football it is. It's probably the most expensive football game out there. But it just works for me. And that's what I'm kind of talking about tonight is, what are the games that really kind of bring your stress level down? APBA football. So I've already played, I don't know how, I think I played 2 or 3 games for 1975. And so if I'm at 3 hours into it, I'm 9 hours into that season. So I'm still, probably at $12 or $13 an hour. Again, that's that's the Dave math. So if I'm 12 or 13 hours into a season, when I break it down by the hour, so let's just say I'm 10 hours in. If I did 3 games, 10 hours into it, so it's $12 an hour. Did I get $12 an hour worth of enjoyment today? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And doesn't mean I'm going to go and spend a ton more money, on games and do it that way. But I mean, if I get 3 or 4 or 5 games in a season, I've got my money back. I just have. Between the unboxing, looking at all the names, figuring out the games I want to play, playing the games, to me, I get my money's worth. And the more games I play, that per hour rate comes down. That's kind of how I look at it. And but yes, it is expensive. Back in the chat here. Jeff played some APBA football this week, 1981, Eagles and Giants. I have that season. New York won, but wasn't using the defensive cards, and I would rather play with those cards. When you say defensive cards, Jeff, do you mean the team defensive cards? I think that's what you're meaning, right? Because that's the only defensive cards. I like using them. Otherwise, it's a stagnant defense, and it's kind of boring. And like when I use the master book, you have the different results for the first and the fourth quarter, and then the second and third quarter. I like that too. I like having different results. I don't like it being so stagnant. And so for me, when I pull out the defensive cards and I roll for the defense, just seeing if they're going to react correct or not on the play. And sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. And that's football. And to me, that feels like football. Now, I don't know how that's going to skew the stats for me. I don't care. Every time I play and I use the defensive cards, it gives me a starting point for my defense. When I use those defensive cards, it gives me a starting point for my defense. And that's what I need when I play APBA because I'm playing by myself. So I'll call the offensive play, give me a starting point for my defense, and we can go from there. And let me see, back in the chat here. Let's see. And Jeff says I'd be stressed out playing APBA hockey, at least initially. And eventually play the hockey game, probably 79, 80 season. Yeah, that's a good season there. That's a good season. 3 other greatest days of the year. I'm not sure what we are talking about with it. I'm behind in the chat, like I always am. I already got a text today, people talking about Black Friday already. Like, what's going on? What's going on in that? I haven't put that on the table yet. Dynasty League Baseball. That's a deep game. But I'm trying to think, like, what I need to use everything. Like some of the games I play, I don't do the weather or the wind. Like even in golf, I don't usually use that. Sometimes I just want to get the game moving. I was intrigued by it. Once I started playing it was a lot of fun. And so I'm kind of intrigued by it. It is just so deep, though. But I could see how it could be somebody's favorite game because there's so much baseball in that game. I'm not a huge baseball game. So for me, APBA Basic is like perfect. In a game like Dynasty League, it's tempting to sit down and try to figure out because it looks like it could be. It didn't look hard. It just looked like a lot of baseball. With the wind and the weather and the umpires. It's kind of like APBA Master Baseball where everything's factored in. I don't know if I want that much baseball. But if you do, that's the game. It really is. And let's see here. Ryan comes by and Ryan says, in all seriousness, that's why soccer gaming is pretty fun. Basically, no penalties and no line changes and many less shots too. Okay. And Mr. Steve, happy Labor Day weekend. And Steve liked the history maker baseball to reduces his stress. Yep. He said it's like slipping into a star-spangled banner thong. Yep. And that always is nice and comfortable, right? Back to the chat here. I will get to that football game today. I should break off from the chat and talk about it here because let me do that right now before I go. And I'm going to be real behind in the chat here, but let me tell you about this football game today, okay? And then we can even talk about that a little bit. So, feel free to post, but I'm probably going to be, I'm 15 to 20 minutes behind in the chat. Sorry about that. So I'm playing the Jets in the Cardinals. Okay, let me come over to my news scene. There we go. Oh, okay. And here's what happened. So St. Louis took the kickoff and they drove it down inside the 10 of the Jets, and the Jets picked it off at the 2. Right? Namath comes out, and on the second handoff, the guy gets tackled in the end zone for a safety. I got a safety. It's 2-0, right? So St. Louis goes down. They take the safety kickoff. And it actually, this is what happened on the safety kickoff. I rolled a crazy number, and it said 21 yards, D8 or something like that. And then there was a flag. So he kicked the punt from the 20. It went 21 yards to the 41-yard line, and it was recovered by the kicking team because the kicking team is the defense, I think. I sat there for a while trying to figure this out, and I think that's what I come out with. So it was almost like an onside kick for the free kick from the 20 because it was recovered by the Jets. So they kicked it and they recovered it. However, there was a flag, and on the flag, it said the ball went out of bounds. So what I did is I said, okay, here's what I'm going to do on this. That they kicked it. It was a bad kick. It shanked. It bounced around. The Jets got it, but the ball had already been ruled out of bounds. So I just gave St. Louis the ball right where it was at the 36-yard line or whatever it was, or 41. And they went down. Oh, then they rolled a rare play. So on top of that safety and that crazy kickoff, and then the crazy out of bounds penalty, I got a rare play from the 36-yard line. And the rare play was the runner scores. It was a run up the middle. So it was Jim Otis scored, I think that was his name, or Otis Smith. I forget what that says. Otis something or other. I think it was Jim Otis. And so he runs it up for 36 yards and he scores. But on the celebration, it was a penalty on the offensive player for hitting a defensive player. So they had to back it up 15 yards on a kickoff. So they come up and then, so it's 9-0. They get a kickoff from the 20 and the Jets get it and they return it all the way to the St. Louis 24. Because of the penalty, they kicked off from the 20, short kickoff to, I think the guy got it at the 30 or the 35, and he got like a 40-yard return. So Namath gets the ball on the St. Louis 24, and they end up scoring on a 10-yard run. So it's 9-7. Then we had a St. Louis fumble, a New York interception. Then we had a punt, another interception, and then a punt and another interception. It was just like interception city. It really was. And then I think the Jets went in right for the half and took the lead 13-7, and they missed Pat Leahy misses the extra point. So we got a safety and a touchdown and 2 touchdowns. So it's 14-9 at the half. Sorry, it was 14-9 at the half, right, with the Jets in the lead. So I thought it was just nuts. We had a rare play. We had a missed extra point. We had a safety. We had almost like a safety onside kick. I'm like, okay, that's great, right? Third quarter, not much happens. We have 2 long drives that are punts. Namath hits Castor for an 8-yard catch. So now it's 20-9. Okay, so it was like, 13-9 at the half, 20-9. So 20-9 going into the fourth quarter. This is what happens. Jets get another field goal, 23-9. So now they're up by 14. So I'm thinking this is over, right? This game's over. St. Louis gets the ball to 22. They drive the field, and Jim Hart hits Metcalf for 11 yards, 23-16. So it's a 1-possession game now. And I think there was like 5 minutes to play, something like that, right? 5 or 6 minutes to play. So I'm like, okay, 1-possession game, still 5 or 6 minutes to play. St. Louis kicks off, and it's a rare play. I roll 66 on the rare play, which is a 12. The rare play on the kickoff is the ball is bouncing around in the end zone, recovered by the kicking team for a touchdown. So I have 2 rare plays that led to 2 St. Louis touchdowns. So St. Louis kicks off, the ball's bouncing around the end zone, somebody runs down and covers it up, and it's a touchdown. It happens. It's a rare play. It happens. So it's a rare play and a kickoff. It's 23-22. Jim Backen comes in and misses the extra point. There's 1 roll in his card that can miss, just like Leahy. So there were 2 extra points today that were missed, 1 for each side. It's 23-22. And then it just went back and forth, and nobody could score after that. And so it was the final score, 23-22. But 2 missed extra points, a safety bizarre kickoff that almost resulted in the Jets recovering it. Okay. I got, and then that score, and then the kickoff score on a rare play. It is just so many weird things happening, but it was awesome. I just was like, man, that was such a good time. So many crazy things happened in that game. But then there was a lot of normal stuff too. It wasn't all just like weird stuff. But when it happened, I couldn't believe it. When I hit that kickoff rare play, I said, you're not going to believe this. I said, St. Louis is going to recover in the end zone for a touchdown, and the game is tied. I thought it was tied till he missed the extra point. that just added to it. It really did. So that's how my APBA football game went today. It really was. It really was. That game just never disappoints me. It just doesn't. And that's kind of the impetus of this talk tonight is what can I get done that game. I was like, man, that was awesome. And I didn't care who won. I just thought it was great. All the different things I saw. It felt like a football game. It felt like a crazy football game. Not all like that, but that was kind of cool how it worked out. And I didn't care who won. Like we were talking about, was it Patrick saying, no, I don't care. I don't care. So back to the chat room. I'm behind the chat. I'll try to catch up now. And Joe went back to 49 Quick Decks Hockey, the full game today. And after playing the highlight, he really enjoys the full game. I will say, I do too. I went back to the full game a little bit too. But boy, it feels like it takes forever now. After playing the highlight, which I feel is one of the best highlight games out there, I just feel like that game, it just does it for me. But the quick text is great too. I find that to be a little more stressful because it's like you take it every shot, you're on the edge of your seat, you're seeing every penalty, you're just seeing everything that happens. Whereas the highlight game, it's fast and fun. Whereas the quick decks, it's long and more serious and more you're more on the edge of your seat on that one. So that is that. And Patrick, yes, you are the only person in North America that doesn't like Rush. I'm sorry, but yes, you are. And Jeff says he used to play baseball and football games on his old laptop while watching television. He used to have the extra innings package, but no longer. I can't watch a full baseball game. I just can't. It's just not my thing. Alan comes by. Good to see you, Alan. His relaxation game is replay baseball cards and dice. He knows exactly how it works and has most of the charts memorized. Yeah, that's always fun too when you don't have to think about it. And that's where the APBA comes in for me. I don't have the charts memorized, but I just flip to where it is and roll the dice and I get the number and I'm done, And Sean says the animals don't always talk back to him. That's a bummer. You spend all that time talking to squirrels and they don't talk back. That's kind of a bummer, And it's always better to see the skunk instead of smelling one. Yeah, it is. And Andrew comes by. Hi, Andrew. Any baseball helps with stress. Yep. And APBA baseball it's relaxing. I mean, that's just for me because it's just so simple. It is. It's so simple. And you almost got sprayed by a skunk. Well, you got to stop talking to the squirrels. That's the problem, And Jeff says he was a late arrival to Rush, didn't get the music till he was in his late 20s. And I didn't get into Rush till the late 70s when people were like, yeah, get Rush. And I was like, okay, because I was listening to Yes. My uncle listened to Yes. So I was listening to Yes, and then they get into Rush. I still have my 2112 album, by the way, the one that folds out. I still have that. All the other ones I get rid of. And I liked everything right up through Power Windows is when I hit the wall. Big Money was all right. It just after that, I didn't really like much that they did. Sorry, I just got to be honest with you. But just the Hemispheres was great. By Tour and the Snow Dog and Fly By Night, and the first 10 albums was so good. They just I know them by heart. After that, probably because I was playing in bands, and so we were playing more of the the Sabbath, Crew, Priest, Maiden stuff. That I went this way, Rush went that way. So we had a good time, and we parted ways, and we were okay. And you meant the Jets committed a mental error, not me. Yeah, that kickoff was awesome. It says the ball is bouncing in the end zone, recovered by the kicking team for a touchdown. So I just pictured, I've seen that before. The ball bounces, it goes in the end zone, and the guys are looking at who's going to get it, and then somebody jumps on it. Yeah, yep. Ty says he's excited to watch that game later. Just played the 75 Bills and the Jets with season ticket football. Yep, 75 is a fun season. Just before that Buccaneer expansion. So sometimes it's fun to go and watch those teams play in 75. And I always played the Billy Kilmer game. Billy Kilmer played San Francisco, who had, I forget who San Francisco had for quarterback. I almost played a Billy Kilmer game because I like Billy Kilmer too. But this was good too. This was Namath and Jim Hart that I played today. And that was just so fun. So fun, that game. Jeff also says, I like the historical play with franchise hockey. Yeah, it has got the best historical play of anything. It really does. If you want to get in and play the players and move, I just go sandbox and I just trade guys. So I'll take my team and I'll say, okay, who do I need? Because the trading in that game, no one ever trades with you if you play the computer. So I just open up and say, okay, who needs what? Buffalo needs a defenseman. All right, I'm going to give you my second line defenseman and I want to take this guy. And I just do it. I just make the trade. And it just works. It's funner for me because it's a sandbox for me. And if I want to make a ridiculous trade, I make a ridiculous trade. I try to keep it somewhat reasonable, but to try to play by the rules in that game, yeah. And Smelly Wrestling Geek comes by and he says, I edit the rosters for franchise hockey or other games or other sports. Yeah, that's the fun thing about franchise hockey is I'll go in there and I'll be there for a couple of hours and I'll get my team and I'll change my lines and I'll change the tactics. I don't know if it works or not because I just don't know enough about the game. They really need a tutorial to walk you through. They say, oh, go to our forum, but it's like I'd rather watch a video or something, someone showing me everything instead of me asking questions because it's like the cockpit of a jet. You go in there, it's like, oh, look at all these switches. I don't know what they do. Um, but I have my fun in that game, and I have had my fun, and still, I think Franchise Hockey Manager 2 is still up there in like my top 10 most played games on Steam. I think I played the heck out of that. So I just go in there and just change my lines and work things around. I think the newer games are a little bit easier. Like the Franchise Hockey 9 and 10, I think are a little bit easier than 4, 5, and 6 for some reason. But yeah, I like to go in there and do that myself. Play with the lines and maybe make a trade. I think I put Esposito back on the Blackhawks with his brother Tony, and I think I traded Orr there too. So I had Orr Esposito and Tony Esposito on the Blackhawks in the early 70s or whatever it was. That was just fun. It's just stupid fun to see how it goes. That's all it is. Sometimes I let the Russians in to see how they do. It's just fun. The drafting part is fun, and I always stink at it. The Thrashers. The Thrashers played Phoenix. I think the Thrashers won that game. I think the Thrashers won that game. You have to go check it out. Skip to the end of that video. And Christopher comes by. Yep, thanks for coming by. Let's see here. Jeff also says OOT was fun with modern replays, not so much historical. The exact opposite of FHM, Franchise Hockey Media. Yeah, I had a hard time when I went back with OOTP to try to play some historical seasons. I just couldn't get it to really work for me. I don't know why. Just great game. It just, for me, yeah, maybe because I came from the franchise hockey that I'm used to that. The baseball I just couldn't get into. Brock, another vote for History Maker Baseball and Legends of Boxing. Also matchup college football. Yep, there's some good ones there. And Joe says, that's what's fun about playing the 81-82 season co-op project. Sometimes I pick two teams I don't care about and just relax and have fun playing. I ended up playing a couple the other day with one with APBA Hockey and one with Hockey Bones. And the APBA Hockey was Colorado at Boston. Colorado beat Boston in Boston. Boston just couldn't score in Phil Muir. Phil Muir was just unbelievable goalie in that game. And then I played I don't even remember who I played the other game, but I played it in Hockey Bones, so I had everybody available that played in the game. And I don't remember who it was, to tell you the truth. But I played a couple, and it was fun. It was two teams I don't even care. Oh, it was Washington-Pittsburgh. It was Washington-Pittsburgh, 81-82. They finished like 4 and 5 in their division. They were both terrible. And I didn't care who won. I didn't even know anybody. Dave Parrow was the goalie for Washington. I had no idea who Dave Parrow is. Michel Dion was the goalie for Pittsburgh. I knew him. And so that was fun. That was fun playing two teams I didn't really care about. And again, I'm trying to catch up on the chat here. Let's see. Jeff also says, Jeff and Adam and OTP did a fun replay a few years ago in the WHA League, never folded. Yeah, I watched a lot of that. They're on Wednesday nights, like at 10 or 11 o'clock and live, and I'll watch some of that, and I'll chat with them. I know those guys. And I've had a good time, chatting with them and in that game. And I watched some of that. I think they actually took California and tried to like play all of their seasons. And I said, "Are you guys going to keep them in California?" I said, "No. Once they move and once they fold, they're out." And I was kind of bummed about that. I said, "That'd be a fun little project. Just kind of take California, keep them in the league." And Ray says, I agree about the co-op product. You get to pick teams I know nothing about and do some research and do some learning. Yeah, a lot of this is learning. When I play teams I don't know, there's a lot of learning. And it's really fun when you can just get on there and just learn about guys. Oh, who is this guy? Who is that guy? Oh, I didn't know this guy played on this team. And I didn't realize this guy, had so many goals. And, this goalie. I didn't know Phil Muir played on Colorado. I knew Phil Muir played with, I think he played with Montreal, and then he went to the Atlanta Flames. That's where I know him for. But I did not know Phil Muir ended up on the Colorado Rockies. I wouldn't have known. If you told me the Flyers, I would have believed that. But the Colorado, I had no idea about that. And Smelly Wrestling Geek says, action PC games are good, but I'm quite used to the endless seasons with games like Franchise Hockey Manager and OOTP. Yeah, they do a good job. They do different things, and they do really well with that. And Chris says that's why I like to play one half a day and pick up the second half the next day, the day after. Yep, yep. Today I just did the whole thing. I did the first half, and I felt pretty good. I wasn't that tired. My wife brought me something to eat, so I snuck some food in. And I'm like, I got it all set up, and it's all streamed. Why don't I just finish it out? And I'm glad I did. That fourth quarter was epic with that kickoff touchdown and the missed extra point. It's just so many crazy things happening, and it just was a great game. And Jets trying to run out the clock, and they couldn't, so they gave St. Louis the ball back with about a minute left and no timeouts, and they moved it up a little bit, but they couldn't get in the field goal range. It just felt like a football game. Every time I play APBA, it feels like a football game, and that's just my personal thing. I mean, there's other games that make me feel the same way too, but something about this game here is just always that way with me. And that's kind of what I'm at tonight. What is your game that just wow? It just no matter what it is, no matter how many times you play, it just impresses you all the time, and it makes you feel really good. No, we're not telling Marco I'm thinking about playing soccer. I'm going to retract that. I'm going to retract that statement. Okay, I'm not thinking about playing soccer, but I am. I had to do the honey with the tea last night and again today. After doing 3 hours today, my voice was gone, so I had to do the honey with the tea. And then last night, 4 or 5 hours of broadcasting hockey. I on the way home, like, wow, my voice is shot. I called Ron on the way home, and I was like, Ron, my voice is shot. I haven't done this in a while, so I had to do the tea with the honey last night. It does work. It does work. It really does. And Highwayman says, aside from different games, I enjoy catching my stats up. I might play 5 games or so and then tally up all the stats. The math is relaxing for me. Yeah, I like math. I like math too. And Jeff says he used to have the 81-82 teams on his Coleco hockey game that he got for his 10th birthday. Fantastic. And he used to put the uniforms and the stickers on the players. Yeah, they used to. I actually bought some. I have a I think it's a Monroe hockey game. It's over here, and I think it has Oakland. So that's how old it is. So I think it's 69. And they weren't the California Golden Seal. They were definitely Oakland. And I on eBay I bought a couple of teams. I think I have 6 or 7 teams. It's all the metal guys for it. I don't play it. It just kind of sits over there. I think I bought it for, I don't know, $70 at the flea market or something like that. But it works. It works. I got a couple of pucks. I think I even bought some of the flags for it if I wanted to put them on there. But I bought some teams. And they weren't that expensive either. And every now and then I go over and I'll swap the teams out and I'll just take pictures and put them on Facebook. It just because I don't have anybody to play it with, and it's so old I wouldn't want to wreck it, But anyway, so Ryan says I was going to gift me APBA soccer around the holidays. The fact makes a big difference. If I get the game, you're going to send me a season. All right, we'll talk, Ryan. We'll talk about that. I'm tempted. I'm not a big soccer fan, but if the facts make the game go smoother, then maybe to be all right. But the dice version did not do a thing for me. I was like, oh my gosh, forget it. It was like playing baseball with Mike Canistrari. Just forget it. Just forget it. But if the facts work out, then yeah. Chris says, I don't know if I have that one go-to game or whatever, but I like to play a lot of what I have. Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm not necessarily I don't have one game, and I have a lot of games that relax me, And Phil says he thinks he's fixed his OnlyFans page. All right, way to go, Phil. And Ray says, I replayed the 74 Flyers and did get them to win the cup. He hasn't touched it since. Yeah, win-win. Yeah, you can't. Once you win it, you have to walk away, APBA chatter. What's he got to say? I'm slowly catching up here. There's a lot of comments. I'm going to try to get to them. I played the APBA convention soccer tournaments. Be my last game. Played a whole game in an hour and 15 minutes. It flowed easily. Okay, it gives me hope. I don't know what I would get. I don't know if I would want to get. What do they even have for seasons for APBA soccer? Because I think they had the New England. They had the New England Revolution the year they won it, right? Because I remember going in and poking around one time. And, they have the Revolution the year they won it. Don't know anybody, but might be kind of fun to play the Revolution. Jeff says, I want to play APBA hockey. Gretzky's first year in the NHL. Islanders Flyers in the final should be fun. Yeah, that's one of the first ones that I got. The first ones that I got was that season there. And Wrestling Geeks, Smelly says, he likes to play games. And Joe brings up a good point. The great thing about season ticket baseball and payoff pitch, they caught every player. That to me, it's not a deal breaker by any means. But if I have the choice of playing a game with all the players versus one that doesn't, I'm going to lean in that direction. And the same thing with like seasons in stock, because I started with a different hockey game, and I got the Apple. I think it was APBA Chatta. I think he sent me the hockey. Tebow sent me the baseball. Tebow sent me baseball and football, I think. APBA Chatta sent me the hockey, and they were the older versions. And I started playing them, and I was like, oh, okay, they're not as bad as I thought. So I went and I bought, the brand new game with the new season. And I says, if I can get this to work, APBA's got nearly all the seasons in stock at least that I would play, whereas some other games don't. And so that's a big deal for me. It's not only every player, but the seasons in stock. And so I ended up, I forced myself, and I got through. That's okay. APBA's fine. I like the APBA hockey. That is great. So I think I'll do that and pick off a season every now and then. And I know they don't have everybody, but they have most everybody, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay because I don't think I would really play any crazy long hockey projects. But to know I'm pretty close with APBA, that's fine. And again, if I really want to get into it and serious replay, which I started with the '92 Bruins, I will do Hockey Bones because I know they have everybody, and so that way there, if I get a guy who played one game, he's in, and I can play him. And now I feel a little bit more complete when I do an as played game with everybody that played in the game. That being said, Apple Hockey doesn't have everyone, but they're pretty darn close, and they have a ton of seasons, so that's what works for me. Payoff pitch and season ticket, they do have everyone, so that's kind of nice. Payoff pitch is a couple seasons I wish he had that I would pick up. I have a lot of payoff pitch seasons for that reason, just because they have everybody, and because it's the cards are great, and I want to support Joe. But if they had more, I would probably have more, and that would be my go-to game. But having every card, having every player carded, again, not a deal breaker for me, but it is one of the bigger checks that I can make in a game. And back from Vancouver, did you ever see that hockey game that we played? Did you ever see that Vancouver game that we played the other day? And I forget who. Oh, it was it 49 highlight hockey that the Vancouver game was? I forget. I did a Vancouver game, and I was looking for you, and you never made it. I put out the bat symbol. I put out the Canuck symbol in the sky, and you didn't see it, And Smelly Wrestling Geek says APBA games are well worth the price of admission. I like them. For me, I like them. If I was just like okay with them, then I would probably have a lot less seasons and wouldn't play it as much. But everybody has the games that they like, and they'll buy the seasons to support that game, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. It's whatever you like. As far as I'm concerned, if you like it, that's good for you because you're playing and you're having fun. And then we talk about, like today, I was 3 hours say playing the APBA football game. Now I start slow, and I like to explain things. People are asking me questions. I was getting a drink, and just I was taking my time. And I had a couple of really weird things happen. So people, 3 hours to play a game. Something, that 3 hours was some of the funnest game playing I've had in a long time, and I've had some fun playing games. This game today, this 3 hours, wouldn't trade that. I wouldn't trade that to play 4 or 5 different games. I can play 4 or 5 games in 3 hours. I don't care. This one game was so worth it for me. That 3 hours was so worth it for me. It really was. And Doug says he might pull out some pay dirt football. 79. That's interesting. It's a good season too. But yeah, I've never played that one. And defensive playing cards. The team cards. Yeah. Oh, this is a long time. We were talking about. Sorry, I'm way behind the chat. I'm trying to catch up here. Triple G comes by. What'd you miss? All kinds of things. I played an unbelievable APBA football game today. And the team cards, the team defensive cards, I like using them rather than just the standard index chart, because the standard, I don't know. I never explained it. I kind of just like the feel of like different plays can happen and different defenses can be called and they can guess right, they can guess wrong. That's what those cards do for me. Maybe that's not what they're supposed to do, but that's what they do for me. Christopher says I played some highlight maker hoops yesterday. And he's playing some fictional and then some fast drive football, 77 Cardinals and Cowboys. Yep, those are fun games. I haven't played too much of the highlight maker hoops, though. Defensive cards. Yeah, we were talking about that. John, John? I know I'm behind here. Strat baseball cards and dice NPC is definitely my stress reducing game. I like the Strat PC game for baseball. Not so much the hockey. Hockey's okay. The football, if I can ever get the game running, I just can't figure out how to run a game. It's all right. I get antsy with that football game though. That I play like a half a quarter, and I just feel like I'm just kind of done with it. I don't know what it is about that. The baseball game is relaxing. I think I did my my spiders with that one, right? Was that the one I did the spiders with? That was fun. That was relaxing. Just kicking back. I mean, it's 1994 graphics, and it's kind of weird how they do things, but it works. It works for me. I had fun with that. And the basketball, Ron loves the basketball game. I played that a little bit. When I got the graphics working, it was fun watching that, but then the graphics stopped working, and so maybe I'll try it without the graphics or the visualization, animation, I guess is what it's called, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, the Strat PC is fun, and the Strat, I like the Strat Basic, I really do. And Triple G says, I love pineapple, I love pizza, I don't like pineapple on my pizza. It can happen. I happen to like it. I'm not a pepperoni guy. Barbara doesn't like pepperoni. I think it's too salty, and just trying to watch that stuff. When I bite into something like that pepperoni, I just taste the salt now. It's like, oh man, I can just feel my body saying no, no, no. So I pull the pepperoni off. I think what works with the pineapple is it's the sweet and sour. It's the sugar and salt. Like when you're having popcorn at the theater or whatever, then you got to have a piece of candy with it. That's what the pineapple does. It's all in one. Let's see. And Krista says he likes the pepperoni, ham, and onions. The steak bomb is not that bad. We had the steak bomb pizza, right? And it's like the mushroom cheese and steak on it. That's pretty good too. Salty though, it is. It's just salty. And Triple G says he puts everything on the pizza, but not pineapple. That's interesting. As we get on a pizza talk here, I'm probably falling behind on the pizza talk, but I'm going to try to catch up here. Pepperoni, ham, sausage, onions, and peppers for me. Yeah, I like the mushrooms. I usually get the meat pizza, which is the sausage and the hamburger, or just a double cheese is good too. And it's dripping with cheese. That's pretty good too. Now I'm getting hungry again. Now I'm going to have to go out. I haven't done the egg on a pizza. That's one thing I haven't done. Yeah, wait till I see I'm missing all this pizza talk. Yeah, now I'm catching up to it. I know. And Chris makes his he's got once a week he makes some pizza, and a pizza stone is the way to go. Nice. And I will be hungry. I am hungry. I just ate a lot of food too. My wife made a really good dinner there. Barbara makes some homemade pizza, and so that way she can put on it whatever she wants. And P-Jet comes by. Yeah, he was in here early. He says, it's great when mediocre teams make for an amazing game. Yeah, that's a really good point, P-Jet. Isn't it really kind of cool when you can just take two, it doesn't have to be the top team, and it doesn't have to be a team like, the Buccaneers or the 76. It doesn't have to be a horrible team. Just you take a couple of just whatever teams, and you have a game. I've had so many of those on this table. When I just take a couple of teams and it just like, hey, these two teams don't get a lot of love, okay, because they're not the top teams and they're not so bad that you talk about them. They're just in the middle and they're just kind of, Mr. Irrelevant is what they are. And you play them, and it's like, man, that was a great game. And I did that as a kid so much. Okay, tell you a little story here, and as I'm trying to catch up on the chat, when I was a kid, I had these little birthday cake guys, and I've talked about this story before. And I would play on the table with my little guys, and I wouldn't play the Bruins. I'd be playing Minnesota St. Louis, right? I'd be playing, Buffalo Atlanta. Teams that no one cared about, at least not my friends. And I was only a young kid. And I remember I'd play these games, and I would go out with my friends. We're outside playing balls. Hey, do you know that St. Louis beat Minnesota 4-2? And like, oh, that's great. They don't care. But that was a fake game. And I had so much fun with it. And so I always liked talking about those other teams. When I did a show on cable TV in 1988, I think it was, and the Bruins were going to the finals that year. And we would, every Monday night on 5:30 or 6 o'clock, we did a half-hour Bruins talk show, and it was live on cable TV. And me and this other guy would just take phone calls from people, and they were real people, real phone calls, and we would talk about the Bruins, and we would like go over this and that. But then every now and then, let's talk about another series. How about out in the West? How about this Minnesota-Chicago series? What do you think? And people just want to talk about the Bruins. I want to talk about the other teams. So yeah, so it is. Sometimes the mediocre teams can make for a fun game because we were talking about earlier. You don't care. There's no investment in it. And Phil says he really enjoyed the APBA football. Yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. He played it when he played it in Canton. Let me know. I'm not an expert on it. I have my way of playing it that works for me. That is so simple, and it just, as today showed, it was just fantastic. And I do highly recommend, if you get the master game, just for the master book. That way there you get your draw play, your screen play. Even if you play alone, there's a way you can make those work and have fun. I don't overuse them, but I do like having the option of a couple of extra plays. And I also like the idea that the results are split in half by depending which quarter you're playing. So if it's the first quarter, you might gain 5 yards. If it's the second quarter, you might gain 2. And I like that. I do. I like having those broken up a little bit more. So the master book is what I use. I mostly play basic, but I incorporate some master rules as well as the master book. Dufferman comes by, speaking about Seattle. I didn't order that season. I almost did. The last year's season so I could play Marchand with the Panthers and have them play the Maple Leafs and the Oilers. And then I could play Utah and Seattle and teams that I like, those weird teams. And I didn't pull the trigger on. I just didn't. Maybe at some point, but I didn't pull the trigger on last year. Excuse me. I have those teams in shootout. In 49 quick decks hockey. So if I want to play them, I can still play them, but I don't have the cards for them. And Fenner comes by. Good to see you, Fenner. And Joe says, I enjoy that detail in my hockey games. Yeah. When you're playing if we're talking about the 49 quick decks, the full version, that is, it's intense. The quick decks version is intense. The highlight is fast and fun. Quick decks is intense and long. And let's see, Mike in the truck comes by. Good to see you, Mike. And PJ, as we talked about, Rashi says Power Windows was the last album with decent amount of prog arrangements. I didn't like much after that. I just didn't. And Mike, now it's playing outside poolside, hence poolside Mike as your new alias. Is it? It's getting cold over here. It's getting dark. What have I been on? A little over an hour. Yeah, right around 7:30 or so. The wife went to bed with the dog and take care of the dog. And I said, something, I'm gonna go downstairs. I go, boy, it's dark out. I said, it's getting dark out. It used to be 9 o'clock and still be light. It was great. Now it's 7:30 and it's getting dark out. Mike in the pool. Yes, it is. Mike in the pool. And Scott said, hey, Scott. He says, I was rooting for Phoenix because of Roenick. Yeah, we had JR in that game. Yeah, Phoenix with JR. There was a handful of guys. There was more guys on those two teams than I care to admit that I know. There was Phoenix and the Atlanta Thrashers from, what was it? Was it 99? Dude, what oh man, what year was that we played? Was that 07, 08? I think that's the only one I would have. Oh no, it was my new one. It was my new one. It was 2000, 2001, right? That's what it was. It was 2000, 2001. That's the new season I got. And so that's the game that I played. And we had those two teams on there. And Christopher says, I remember Phil Muir from the Flyers had one of his top scores. Okay, so he did play with Philadelphia. Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know. I mean, I had a hunch he did, but I wasn't 100% sure. And Ty says, I don't know much about the 75 season, but I'm enjoying learning and playing that season. Sometimes I'll do that, Ty, is I'll get a season just out of my range on either side. Like I picked up the hockey, the 67 and 68 hockey seasons for APBA. Don't know much about those guys, but it is fun having the very first expansion season. And when I just going through the cards, it's like, oh, I didn't know that Sawchuk played for the Kings and Glenn Hall was St. Louis. It's funny to see the goalies that were the older guys getting put on the expansion teams. So that'll make for some fun games. It really will. Seeing the Flyers, pre Bobby Clark, things like that. It should be kind of fun. Just playing some of those expansion teams should be a good time. And then 68, the Seals actually got to the playoffs, so that might be fun to play some playoffs with the Seals. So I am enjoying playing some seasons that are just outside of my range, And Triple G says APBA football is his first dice game in 1983. That's fantastic. And baseball with Mike Canistraro. Yeah. Parallel League comes by. Happy Labor Day weekend. I haven't got eaten by the coyotes yet. We had a skunk out here last night that we had to dash around. But, well, if you go back on my channel, you actually might see some Guitar Hero. I used to play that from time to time. I had the drum kit, actually, and the bass. And so my routine was to play Red Barchetta every night before I went to bed. So I'd come downstairs, and I had headphones on. And so I would take out the bass, and I would play on medium mode. Red Barchetta by Rush is what I would play with Guitar Hero. So I did. I was either Guitar Hero or the other one. I forget what there was two of them, and I forget. But it was mostly the same thing. And APBA Chatter says APBA games are, the dollars per games played is the amount of time is reasonable. That's what he's saying. So yeah, if you take a lot of time playing APBA games, then your per hour cost goes down. Joe says another game that comes to mind is Pocket Pennant one. Very relaxing game to play. Very simple. You can print out the score sheets and the lineups and the ratings. Very relaxing to play. Yes, it is. That's another good one. And Paul is working on those the spreadsheet, not the spreadsheet, the software, and it's coming along awesome. I can't wait for him to get that ready to release. But it looks fantastic. And yeah. I like Pocket Pennant Run, the card game. And they just had a lot of trouble getting the software to work right. And that's where a lot of people got frustrated. But the Pocket Pennant on the card game was fantastic. Those 3 dice and how you played that was like the nicest game to start playing and learn. And just, it was so fun to play. And Gus comes by. Thanks for coming by, Gus. And Doug says another game is also great to play, Stone Cold Hockey. Yes. I remember when I first tried that. I was like, wow, this is really fun. It took a period. Ron and I played the first period and like, wow, this game is pretty bad. And then when we finished the game, and by the end of the second period, like, wow, this game's pretty good. And games are the stress relief. And Gus got some pizza tonight. Some homemade pizza for Gus. Nice. And Doug had some Domino's. Well, a lot of people with pizza tonight. Yep. And let's see. Pocket Pen Run is a very fine game. Yep. And just hand toss with stuffed crust. There you go. And Charlie comes by. Hi, Charlie. Good to hear from you. From the Philippines. Yeah, we're just kind of just talking about games tonight and music and pizza. just wide open today. I spent 3 hours playing APBA football today, and I just talked about the crazy game I had and how much fun I had. Really. And that 75 season, that was a wild card season for me to buy. because my favorite season. 75 was 76 is the funnest one. 76 and 78, and obviously anything newer with the Patriots and Brady. But back in the day, 75 was. I remember when I bought that, I was like, okay, this is going to be something no one's going to expect because it's just a shade earlier from what I would play. And I think I played that almost as much as any other season I have with APBA football. 78, I think I played the most because I did the whole week one, and I was trying to keep stats for it. But now I play it completely different, so I'd probably want to start over. But in 76, I don't play much Buccaneers, not as much as I thought I would. There are so many cards that it's like that thick with the Buccaneers. But 75 was it's been a surprise for me. I've been enjoying because it's right when a lot of the old guard was leaving, and then some of the younger guys were coming in for quarterback and kickers and running backs and all that stuff there. So I was just right at the big change from like all the heroes from the 60s made it to 75 and they started to fade out. So I really did. That's what I like about 75. P-Jet, Farewells to Kings is usually the first thing I play when I pick up my bass. I haven't played in a long time. In fact, when I play guitar, this guy here, I think, I've talked about this guy here. This guy here. I'm on guitar. He's on bass. He's the guy that I went out to the show with Friday night, him and his wife. And we talk all the time. And I was like, we should jam. I says, I can either play guitar or I can try my electronic drums and keep a beat. And he's like, I haven't played bass in years. It's like, I haven't touched anything in years either. But just the idea just to kind of strum along might be kind of fun. So I need to try to pick something up and play, even my bass. Maybe put on some Iron Maiden and try to play my bass again. And Outlaw JW, pew pew, the Outlaw. Dynasty League Baseball he likes. Yeah, I can see. I haven't played it. I've only played that one time on the channel here. I can see how people think that Dynasty League Baseball is unbelievable. I really can. And Alan's starting to play some fall classic baseball. Simple to play, good cards. Almost everybody's carded. It's a cross between APBA and Strat. Okay. Do I have any more APBA games from 75 on my videos? Probably. If you search some of my, I think I have played 75 on my channel. If you go back and look, I think there would be something from 75. All right, so I think I'm caught up in the chat now. Hopefully I didn't skim over too much, but so I think we're back to normal now. And field day baseball. I seen the something about field day baseball, but I don't have that one. But I did enjoy this game. Oh my god! Like I said, this game today. How many interceptions? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's how crazy this guy had. 4 interceptions in the first half, and a fumble. So I had 5 turnovers in the first half. Yeah, 5 turnovers. Interception on the first drive. 2, 3, 4. Fumble. And then in the second half, the only turnover I had was, I don't even know if that'd be considered a turnover. If you kick it off and the other team doesn't get the ball and you fall on it in the end zone, that's not a turnover, right? That's just basically you recover the kick. So yeah, so I didn't have any turnovers in the second half. So a 13-9 game ended up 23-22. That's a weird football score, but that was awesome. That game, again, I'll be talking about that game for a while. Just so many weird things happen in it. And then when I missed that extra point to tie the game, whew, boy, that was something else. It really was. So what else is on your mind here? Okay, so I got all my yapping out of the way, and I talked about that game. I'm trying to see some other games that I enjoy playing. I used to really enjoy the shootout hockey. Not that I don't anymore, but the 49 hockey kind of slid in there ahead of the shootout. As much as I still like the shootout, the 49 hockey, where it brings in individual player ratings, I really do like that. And I like the idea that you can do an as played. I guess you could with shootout too, if you rolled a player that didn't play in the game and you ignored him. I guess you could do that. But the 49 highlight hockey, I'm afraid to put it back on the table, because if I put it back on the table, I'm probably not going to stop playing it because I really do like it. Oh, I have a care package back here. I haven't unboxed it. I'll unbox that tomorrow. I got a care package. I'll unbox it. I won't say who it's from until tomorrow, but I have a surprise package that someone told me they were sending me, and it came in the mail the other day. And I just haven't had a chance really to open it up and show everybody. So I'll do that tomorrow. I'll try to make that my project for tomorrow. Um, and Charlie says, I'm really struggling with APBA football. It stresses me out. I think baseball will be easier. He didn't like Stratomatic basketball. I love your interview with Grant Fines. I'm going to order. Yeah, the 49 hockey is fantastic. And the 49 football is good too. I like the hockey a lot better just because I like hockey. The APBA football, what are you struggling with that? First of all, the baseball is easier. What are your problems with the APBA football? Maybe I can help you out with that. I've tried to do some slow play on the APBA football. All it really is just like on a run, just call out the runner, and you just figure out the defense. I use the defensive cards to get my defense, and you roll the dice. You look at the runner card, and you go to the chart, and you just got to make sure that you're on the right chart because there's 5 sections of the field, I think, 4 or 5 sections of the field. You just got to make sure you're on the right chart for the right section of the field, and just get the result. It's really kind of that simple. The master game, there's a lot more going on. It's more really head to head, so I don't even use that really. I don't use much of the. I almost tried a fake field goal. Someone told me to do a fake field goal. Instead, I went for it and I got the first down. So that was kind of fun. But yeah, the APBA football, it's almost as simple as baseball. You just call the play and look at the chart and see what it says. I don't do the injuries, so that's the one thing that I kind of cut out when I'm just doing an as played. I don't want to worry about injuries. And Gus says 55 was way before I was born. Yeah, me too. He owns 55 MLB for Strat for football and has 55 NFL and CFL for Quick Decks. And only hockey for that year is from APBA. Yeah, I'm not the 50s. Not my thing in any sport. I might have ordered. I think APBA's got 3 or 4 really old seasons, like a 20, a 30, and a 40. I think I have them because they were like $12 or $20 or something like that. So I have them. I don't play them much because it's different hockey, and I don't really know too many people. I do have them, but 50s, anything below 60, I just it's not my thing. Mid 60s, late 60s, now I'm getting to be born, so I know some of the people there. Like I said, late 60s, the Bruins were pretty good. And then the early 70s, mid 70s, that's when I started playing sports and watching TV and following it and getting the hockey news and the baseball digest. So that's when I really started getting into it. But the 50s, yeah, not my thing. Maybe someday it will be, though. Maybe someday when I start, going further away from my comfort zone. And Doug says, Solitaire Pro football. Yeah, that's another good one. Solitaire Pro is another good one. Yep. And World West Gamer, he likes the 55. And that's the Dodgers over the Yankees. I'm taking it, right? And Some Road says his stress relief right now is the MLB The Show on Switch. I could never play baseball games. I couldn't hit. I would just swing at every pitch and miss. It's just too fast for me. And there was one game I played. I want to say it was MLB 12. I don't know if it was for Xbox. I think it was for Xbox. And you could slow the pitch way down. And you could at least for me, I could finally see where it was going. Because otherwise, I just swang at everything. And it just wasn't fun. It come at you so fast. I'm not a professional baseball player. I don't have the eye like that. So the pitch would come in, and I couldn't tell where it was going. And so I just swung at everything. It just stopped being fun. So I didn't play much baseball. There was one game I was able to slow the pitch like way down, and it came at me, and it wasn't like this. It wasn't real slow, but it was slow enough that I thought I could see it and have an idea. Because I want to take some pitches. I want to have some balls. And take a strike and not have to swing at everything because I have no idea where it's going. So for me, baseball games just never really worked. And Apachata says, watching videos on Pro Football Helper setup helps also too. Yeah, I like the Pro Football Helper. I really do. It just the only thing about that is it takes me a long time to play the APBA football or any football game, and if I got to stop and put in stats, it's going to double that length. So when I do that, I got to really make sure that I want the stats when I do that. And yeah, the Pro Football Helper is great. It really is. Sean says 53 and 55 are a must play. Okay. And Scott says he liked that night that I played the Federal League for 1915, the Brooklyn Tip Tops and the Kansas City Packers. Yeah, that was a fun time. I like those old seasons. So I have the that's a strat. No, sorry, that's an APBA season, the Federal League, and I have a couple of other seasons that Chris White made me that are really old, and I put those on the table once in a while just to kind of dig it out and have some fun. It's just APBA, but it is kind of fun. It's just bizarre teams, but yeah, the Tip Tops and the Packers. I don't know anybody, but it's fun, and the nicknames are so good back then. The nicknames are great. And that was one of the things I didn't like about APBA when I first started playing. All the nicknames and everything. I didn't care for that. Now I like it because it's a conversation piece. When I play, it's like, oh, here comes, Bert, the Big Bird, whatever, it's just kind of fun. It's just, you get some weird nicknames. What is the actual name or not? I don't care. I don't even know. I just play and have some fun. No, no, no. Don't talk Grant into doing 55. We want Grant to make seasons that I want to play. Scott likes 59 because the Dodgers and the White Sox. Okay. And the White Sox would go to the postseason for the first time in 40 years and not go to the postseason again until 83. Well, that's a bummer. That's a bummer. So what else is going on over here? Yeah, I'll unbox this tomorrow after the gym. I am going to go to the gym. I'm trying to get to the gym every day. I don't have to really well, just about every day I can. Unless I work really late, then it's tough getting up in the morning and going to the gym. Especially if I referee, it's tough trying to get to the gym. Although I did referee one day and then did go to the gym after I refereed on a Friday morning, so that wasn't too bad. So I'm trying to get there as much as I can. So I'll try to unbox that tomorrow, and we'll see what's in there. I have an idea what's in there, but we'll open it up and we'll have some fun with that and see if I can get some other games back here on the table. I do have to unbox something else over this. Maybe I'll do them both at the same time because they're both. Where is that other one? Oh, there it is, right there. So they're both from the same company. So I think it would work out pretty well. Oh man, back in the chat here, and Sean says, games with the clearest instructions makes things less stressful. Well, yeah, yep, that too. If you're fighting a game, you can't have fun if you're fighting a game. That's the other thing. You really need to enjoy the game and not stress out because you're getting it wrong, or what do I do here and how does this handle that, and that's why you see me when I first learn a game, I get like 100 questions because I'm like, well, what about this? What about that? And if A, then B. Oh no, it's not. Okay, well, why not? And yeah, I know that there's probably a handful of game developers here that almost hate seeing me try a game for the first time, trying their game, because they know they're going to get hit with 100 questions. Once I get my 100 questions out of the way and I get the game moving pretty well and I'm going to think about it, then it's good. And then I love your game and I'm going to promote your game here because I'm playing it so much. But in the beginning, when I start playing things, I just because how my brain works, I overthink and I start assuming or I don't assume when I should assume. And like Grant put out the new rules for the 3-versus-3 for the highlight hockey, and I don't know if it was the highlight hockey or the quick text, but it was one of his games, 3-versus-3-on-3 hockey for overtime, and he's talking about rolling dice for the lines. I was like, well, do you roll dice once and just use that result for both teams, or do you roll it twice? Again, that's how I think it. It's like spell it out for me, so I'm not. I don't want to assume anything and then have it, get some bizarre stats because I was not doing it correctly. And so he says I'll probably roll once for each team, I think is what he said. Gus wants me to play some Japanese baseball. I don't know about that. I just don't know anybody. I guess I could. It could be fun, but see, the pocket pen run is hard to stream, especially with stuff like that because you don't have the individual cards. So I usually have a spreadsheet. Or I could print out the spreadsheet, but it's not going to be that fun looking at a spreadsheet. The cards really, when I do cards and dice, I really like to have the cards. That's why Strat works, Payoff Pitch works, Season Ticket works, Apple works. So I can put the cards, we can look at the card and you can follow along. Games with team sheets for baseball don't work that well. And that's what Pocket Pen and Run would be, unless I made all individuals, and I'm not going to do that. I mean, it'd be fun to break out, the Japanese league and see me stumble all over Japanese names. That'd be kind of fun. Yeah, you can print out cards. It's just they're very boring, and I had a hard time printing them out. I really did. Again, that software was tough. So maybe once the new software is out, maybe we can do that. Yeah, I should talk to Paul about that because um, the set of cards I got from Pocket Pen and Run were fantastic, and if they could print out like that with just instead of just being blocky spreadsheet stuff, if they had a little bit of pizzazz to it and the font was really nice, like those cards that I got in the mail, that's what I would play that all the time. I would just have those teams printed out, and I would play that. But just the boring printout was just, again, it was just boring, and it didn't have any flair at all to it. And I think the highlight does have a 3 versus 3. Yeah. But I am tempted, Gus, to do that Japanese stuff like that. I think if I really wanted to get it, Chris White has them. I just don't I just don't want to be spending $50 or $60 or so or more on a fun Japanese set that I know nothing about. So sexy cards. Here's the picture of sexy cards. Okay, I might have to look at that. I'll look at here's the pitch and see if they're gonna be sexy or not. And if they're sexy, then maybe I'll look into it. I just don't know if I need any more baseball games. I've kind of settled on my favorite, 4 games for baseball. Yeah, I think it's like it's the big 4. I got the big 4 that I like, and that works for me. But you never know. I always like trying different things. But that's something I might look into. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean I can't look into it and check it out. I don't really like to print cards anymore. That's the thing. I like to get them right from the company. I know it's more expensive, but it's just the printing and the cutting and all that stuff there. It's oh man, sometimes it just, I enjoyed it back in the day, but now once I started ordering from the company, it's like, I think I'm gonna just do that. just really, that works for me. But anyway, well, we can start winding some things down here. So if you guys want to tell me what's coming up for you on your table this week or what's coming up on your computer, drop that into the chat. We got quite a few of us here. So tell me what you're going to be playing this week. Let's end this on a high note. We can talk about, what we're going to be doing. I know I got an unboxing over here I want to do. I want to see what's in there. So maybe I got a new game over here I can play. I would like to get some Apple hockey with one of my new 60s seasons on the table. I don't know what game or what teams, but I would like to get that on the table. I know it's a 3-hour thing, but maybe another game of Apple football because that was fun. I just like that there, and I got it moving pretty well on the table, and that's really kind of fun. Either that, or maybe I'll do some Hockey Bones, or I need to finish up my season ticket baseball double elimination. I'm down to my final 2 teams. I think it's Baltimore, Texas. And so I could wrap up that project to see who's going to win that. So that's something I could do. Or I could pull out, again, just, like some APBA baseball. Like Triple G says, if I want some APBA baseball. Yeah, I would like to get back to try to get back to the master game, but that was, oh my gosh, that was something else. That was something else. So I think I'll just stick with the APBA basic if I go that route. Man, I should try to learn the master game because I see people play it and they play it really fast and there's a lot to it I like. I just play the master version so dang slow. I really do. I play it so slow because I'm checking everything and making sure I'm checking the list and checking it twice. So I'm really slow with the APBA Master, but I enjoyed it. I did, just like I enjoyed the Dynasty League baseball. From what I saw, I liked what I saw because there was so much happening. So I'm tempted to kind of give that a solo go myself to see if I can figure it out. Um, and so Doug says playing Here's the Pitch Negro League Rookie Stars with the photos. That's pretty good. And Gus says he's playing some Quick Dex 55 NFL. Yeah, we just talking about that. Only 4 weeks in the season is done. And Dice United for a co-op project. I think what I need to do is I need to go back to that 84 baseball project. And I don't know if I would play. I have it in Strat, Payoff, Pitch, and App. I have those 3 and probably season ticket too, but I would have to print out season ticket. But I could probably squeeze in a game of that. I need to get back to the 81-82 project because I have that both Hockey Bones and in APBA, and I enjoy playing the full version. And that's a little easier than the baseball because you can just kind of post it in the group, and they handle that right there in the Facebook group. Whereas the baseball, you got to go in and put in all the stats, and there's a couple more dances you got to do to make it work. And so it just, again, the baseball game plays so much faster, and so I need to do that. And Sean says I'm finishing the 64 as played baseball action replay, action PC baseball, Phillies in the Orioles. And Christopher says he's going through his second season paper score sheets and building team stats, spreadsheets, and game summary sheets. That's what the head for him this week. Okay. So, anybody else before we go? What you're playing? What you're thinking about playing? What's on your mind as far as gaming goes? I think we've done the pizza talk plenty tonight. Now I'm hungry. Right? Anything open 10 o'clock here on Sunday night? Anything open in town? I don't. I've never done a DoorDash. Should I do a DoorDash for some pizza now? I'm not sure if I should do that or not. Part of me would like to set up another Apple football game and play that tonight. I mean, it's late. I wouldn't stream it, but I mean, it's late now. But geez, I'd be up till I'd be up to what 1 or 2 in the morning playing that. Maybe I'll just I don't know, bang on 81-82 hockey game again. I can play the Bones pretty quick. The Bones, it's just I get a headache playing Bones because of all the math. App is a lot easier. It just takes a little longer. Ty says he's got the 57 Browns versus the 57 Bengals season ticket football. Or 2012 Notre Dame and 81 Miami in matchup college football. Yeah. I was talking to ST a little bit about that and dropping a bug in his ear. Says if you could come up with a couple of pro teams for the matchup college football, I like the engine. I just like college football is not my thing. And it's like soccer. I have a real hard time getting into things that I don't have any connection to. And so if he had some pro teams or whatever it was, I would probably really like that game. I really would. But yeah, I was watching college football today, and the wife's like, "You're watching college football?" I says, "Well, it's like the only time I get to watch it. This is the holiday weekend where I'm not working, so I'm home, so I can sit and watch it." I said, "I don't know anybody. I don't follow anybody, but I says, yeah, I'll watch it because it's football. Then next week the pros start, and I won't even turn on the college games, except late Saturday night. I think I mentioned this. Late Saturday night, you go to like the CBS Sports Network, and they'll have Alamo, United, State versus Mississippi, Narragansett, University or something like that. And it's 2 crazy teams, and that'll be fun to watch for a while. But I don't get into the college. I just can't relate to it. So anyway, back in the chat here. And you'd like to see another 75 APBA game since I'm in a 75 kick right now. Yeah, I get some APBA hockey. I even have the 75, 76 for highlight hockey. I think I played a little bit. I think I set it up to play the finals there. Yeah, pizza tonight, more time at the gym tomorrow. I know. I'm glad we didn't get into the ice cream shop tonight. We drove to 3 ice cream shops. I was just going to get like a milkshake, and she was just going to get a little ice cream, and they all were jammed. And I was just, no. I said, I just can't. One of them, I got a panic attack. I was standing there, and all these kids are bouncing around, all this noise, and the line wasn't moving. I'm just like, I got to go. I can't stay here. Charlie says, he goes, it's $800 to get 2 APBA games in Stratomatic to the Philippines. Trying to get back to my youth. Want to do a Super World Series with 7-game series for each series. Yeah, I know. The shipping out of the state, it is crazy. I've heard that. I guess I'm kind of lucky I'm here and I can kind of deal with it. I guess I don't know if you knew anybody that was coming here, if you knew anybody that was coming to the States for pleasure or business, that you could just have them, ship it somewhere and they could just take it on the plane with you. It'd probably be a heck of a lot cheaper than shipping it out. I know that's what some people do from Canada. They'll drive down and meet somebody, and it'll ship to somebody in the United States, and they'll just drive it home. I know that's not always an option, but I mean that's one thing to look into. Scott says there was an interesting review of Hockey Bones on Board Game Geek. Didn't Hockey Bones go by another lane? I think it was Face Off Hockey. I think Hockey Bones it's Face Off. I think it was. And Bill says he's replaying the 74 Cup Finals with Strat, the Flyers, and the Bruins. So that should be a fun one there. I don't like to do that one because I know who's going to win. But that's a fun season. Phil says he's regretting getting into APBA football. Seasons are so expensive. Yeah. Well, here's the thing, Phil, is you don't need to buy them all at once. I would buy one here, one there. Every few weeks or a month to 2 months, I get the itch and I might buy one. I haven't bought one in a while. And just, I think over the last year or so, I just, I got a few. Some I traded for. I traded some of my things for a season. Somebody gifted me 1972 last year in Canton. Thank you, Bob. And so I still play that once in a while. And, but for me, again, like we talked about, if the season's going to be, $100 or so, if you play 5 games, what's the hourly cost for that? That's what you got to look at it. You can't just keep buying. You can't buy like 20 seasons all at once. That's kind of dumb. But you get one and play a bunch of games. And then if you get the itch, in a few weeks or a few months, you get another season. You play a few games, and that's like anything else. The more you play it, the more that return on investment starts to pay off. I got some seasons I've only played 1 game, so not a good return on investment. So I need to go and play a few more. That's why, excuse me, you'll see me just pull out a random game. It's like I haven't played the season yet. I'm going to play it, whether it's baseball, football, or hockey. I'm going to pull it out and I'm going to play it. I'm going to play a couple of games and have some fun. And that there's some seasons I'll play more, I'll get way more use out of. And there's some seasons that I'll only play a game or two, but I don't know. It's just everybody has their game, and for me that really works. And I like to watch college football, Christopher, once in a while. Like I said, I'm going to go tonight, see if there's anything on TV late night. But I just don't have a connection to any of the college football teams, and that's the bummer about it. And I think I have actually a high school football game somewhere, high school or a college football game, and I just don't play it because I just don't have a connection. And you couldn't do ice cream tonight? Done for the summer? All righty. So there must be, it's Canada, right? You guys are in winter right now in Canada, right? Trying hard to get back to my game worth. Yeah, the customs was $100 and shipping was $100 for each. Well, I mean, it all depends. I mean, if you can swing it, swing it. That's all. I mean, it's different for everyone. Yeah, go Flyers. Yeah, says Ray. Yeah, Flyers organization celebrated 50th year anniversary since winning the cup. How embarrassing! Has it been 50 years since they won the cup? Yeah. Oh, they lost to Edmonton that one time, right? Did they go again? Or was that the last time they went to the cup was against Edmonton, and they lost that? I was actually pulling for the Flyers, by the way, and it just didn't work out. And Scott says that's why I'd like to see Keith at Play Games license someone in the UK, Europe to produce his games or do the print. Yeah, there was some talk about that. Some talk about that. As far as getting someone to do their games either in Canada or overseas or something like that. I don't know how that would work, but that would be kind of interesting if you could. And Keith says Hockey Bones was called Face Off. Okay, that's kind of what I thought. And okay, so they lost 85. Now 87 was the Oilers. 97 was Chicago. 2010, I don't remember. Who the hell did they lose to in 2010? And 76 and 70. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, so they well, now you got me. You got me here. So I had the page open. How about that? So yeah, 76 they lost to Montreal. I was going to play that series, by the way. And then in 79, 80 they lost to the Islanders. Yep. It was the Oilers in 84 and then the Oilers again in 87. And then the Red Wings in 96, 97. And then the Blackhawks, yeah, in 2010. So, at least they've been there a few times. And 2010 was the Blackhawks. Okay. Alrighty. Well, I'm going to wrap this up here, folks. I want to say thanks for coming by here. Just chatted for a little bit on a Sunday night, on a holiday weekend. It's getting cool out now. I have the windows open now. It's kind of cool out, so just gonna go and I gotta figure out if I'm gonna play something tonight. I've been playing all day, but that's what I want to do. I always say I'm gonna play, then I never do. So today I did finally play. So that was fun. It was a long day of playing. It was a long day. It was a lot of fun. But I gotta see what I want to do tonight here. So anyway, and 2010 was Chicago and 97 with Detroit. I didn't realize the Flyers went that many times. I know they won a couple in the 70s and then they lost to the Canadians and the Islanders. And I knew they lost once to the Oilers. I didn't realize they went that many times. So, well, good for them. I mean, they got there. So anyway, so again, thanks for coming by. I had a lot of fun just kind of chatting, trying to figure out, what is your stress release game? I have so many, but there are some that just fit the bill, that just are so fun, and I can play any two teams and just have a good time with it and not have to worry about getting everything right. And that's the one thing I've done is I've really kind of chilled out. Maybe it's because I learned all these new games, the 49 hockey and the bank shot basketball, that I'm not getting too worked up now about getting it all right. I really am. I'm really kind of just, if I can, today when I had the football game, I had a couple of weird situations come up. I just said, something, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do this, and that'll be that. And I don't have to really worry about, being all worked up about it and, getting yelled at for doing it wrong. I'm just going to do it this way. And just, that's what I think it's going to be. So, but anyway, so I want to thank you all for coming by. As this was a fun here. Triple G and Barbara and everybody that came by here today. APBA, always good to see you, APBA. Thanks for everything that you've done to help me out. Thank you so much for that. I got to get back to the golf. I always see you unboxing the golf. That's the other thing I want to tackle. I was supposed to do that this summer, and I did nothing this summer. But I want to try the golf, even basic golf, just to see if I can get it working. Because I had a hard time with the golf. The golf was really, really difficult, I felt. But now that I played all these other games, maybe if I went back to the golf, it'd be a little bit easier. So we'll see. Doug, thanks for coming by. And hopefully we'll have a nice stressful week. I hope so. And Charlie, thanks for coming by, Charlie, by the way. And like I said, if you have any questions with the APBA hockey, the APBA football, I can try to help. I'm not an expert, but I can try to help you with, if you're stuck, and I'll just tell you how I play it. And I have a good time with it, and that's all that matters. And Ray, Scott Stevens, yes, I know. Yes, I know. APBA golf is not, actually PC golf is not stress reducing at all. Yeah, I know. I started to watch the golf. I just, I need to go back and do it again because I watched a lot of golf videos and I thought I had it down. But every now and then you read something and it's just like, it's something just I think the rule book is wrong. I think that's one of the things is that the rule book there was something that was written wrong in the rule book, and that sends me for a loop when something is written wrong in the rule book because it's like, man, this is supposed to be dead solid perfect, and when it's written wrong, now it just screws up everything. And there was a couple things that just didn't make sense in the rule book, and that threw me for a loop too because I couldn't get past it. And bank shot basketball is great. I love bank shot basketball. As you saw, back in the spring, I played so much bank shot basketball, I couldn't stop playing it. It was one game after another, after another, after another. It is fun. I consider it a very easy game to play. It's a long game. It's a long game, but I had so much fun with it. Uh, yeah, we're gonna have to do that again. I gotta talk to Vin and Joe and a couple other guys about, D to D 26 and maybe D to D 25 and a half. We're talking about trying to find something uh, together, maybe before the spring. So we'll see. Just kind of in something informal, but that's not a definite yet. So, um, Ty, thanks for coming by. And yes, I was watching Dr. TC and Ron Emp and Tebow. So those are the three guys I was watching the APBA golf. And I'm going to try to have a peaceful week. I'm going to try. Jeff, thanks for coming by. And Triple G, yeah, I've been watching your golf there. I've been watching your golf. I just still have a hard time. But then again, I haven't played it since I bought it a few years ago because I really was getting tripped up with it. But it's something I might try. You never know when I will pull that out again. Yeah, we're kind of hoping maybe something right before the snow flies, getting together, and just kind of getting together and just hanging out, and nothing formal, but just kind of a hangout, kind of like what they do down in Staten Island, that Joe does down there in Staten Island. Just something a little bit further up here, so people up here could attend. But we'll see. We'll see. We're still kicking around some ideas, but anyway, that is that. So, want to thank everybody for coming by, and yeah, we'll hopefully see you tomorrow because I'm off for tomorrow, aside from the gym and um, hanging out with a wife. Not a lot going on tomorrow, so we don't go anywhere. Luckily, when we do, everything happens at once. Like we go to the show and there's like 14 shows on the same night, and people want to hang out. It's like, jeebus, I got no plans all year long, and I pick a night to do something, and everyone wants to do something on that night. So, but anyway, thanks for coming by, folks. We shall talk to you all later. Bye bye.